Hey everybody, thank you so much for tuning into our podcast, Moms on the Move. I'm Jen Wells.
And I'm Ashley Steigerwald.
We have two guests here today with us. We have Claudette Graham with Infant Swim Rescue, and we have Kari Grayson, who is here to share her story. So we wanted to start with just a little trigger warning with this podcast topic. If you have kids in the car or you're sensitive to this topic, just be aware we are talking about child safety and drowning in the pool, and we'll be talking about a child's passing. So I really appreciate, Kari, you reaching out to us about your son. If you want to tell us a little bit, what had happened.
It was a normal Saturday. I went to go clean the church. I came home from cleaning the church, looked at him on the porch, and told him, hey. He smiled and waved, and I went to take a nap, and my husband, took care of the kids, and then the next thing I know, I'm being woke up by my youngest daughter saying that Cass is dead, and he had gotten out of the house while my husband was dealing with our autistic son and gotten into our own pool and drowned.
So he was 2 at the time?
He was 2.
Okay. I'm so sorry.
So.
And his name, you said, was?
His name's Castiel Grayson.
And his birthday was in May?
May 16th.
May 16th. So we appreciate you reaching out and trying to help moms because, I think there's misconceptions with drowning, what it looks like, which, obviously we'll have you talk about that. But the age that is apparently so vulnerable is from 1 to 4, and it was apparently 2 times more likely for boys. I don't know the reasoning behind that, if they're just more daring or no. I mean, a little bit. I
Probably.
mean that. Yeah. I mean,
Probably.
it just so. Anyway, it's just as so many of us parents, it's just something that I think needs to be discussed. So. What are you seeing? You obviously do the infant swim.
I do.
Training.
I teach the survival swimming.
Okay.
We teach individual one-on-one at their pace. We have a proven 45 years proven method that brings amazing results. Typically a 6-week program. We do it 10 minutes a day, Monday through 5 days in a row, usually Monday through Friday, and within that 6 weeks, they learn, depending on their age, they learn either to just roll into a float or to swim, float, swim is what we call it, the sequence. If they are 6 months and sitting unassisted, up to a year-old-ish walking, we do the float. So we initially teach the float because that's the place we want them to get to.
Right.
That's the safety place. They can just relax and breathe until help comes. So we teach the float to any position. We put them in, within steps. We do small accommodations until we know they're going to be successful at the next step. So within that 6 weeks, we teach them to float, and then depending on how they get in the water, they can get back up to the surface and wait until help comes. The interesting thing about the float is that a lot of times they are so confident in it that even if they are near the edge, they don't try to grab it.
Wow.
Or they don't even call for help. So a lot of times we ask for them to yell for help if they've gone in alone, if mom's not right there, or they've had to use that skill to get up there. We kind of teach them to yell. The other one is the swim, float, swim. So if they're walking really well, they have good bilateral motion movements in their legs, then we teach to swim. And it is all safety driven, but they are learning the skill to swim. So it's kind of a bonus.
That's not an innate, you're not born with that skill.
No, ma'am.
I feel
Otherwise we wouldn't have drownings.
I know. And it's so interesting to me because I had the boys do swim lessons, and I have to admit, I'm still not good about it. They decided they didn't like it, and I didn't want to force them.
And you usually start much later. And if you're saying most drownings are between 1 and 4, and your son was
Absolutely.
2, most times you don't sign them up for mommy and me until they're 3 or 4.
Right.
A lot of times they have a false sense of security because parents give them flotation devices such as puddle jumpers. So
true.
These kids don't know what their bodies can do in the water.
That is really, really
Their
important.
body
They think that
posture
they're
is
just
wrong.
gonna
I never
float.
even thought of that.
So then they're straight up and down, and when they jump in straight up and down, they
think they can
go
do
right,
it.
right down to the bottom.
So do you discourage the...
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
absolutely. We are huge no-nos on any kind of flotation device.
Okay.
I know puddle jumpers are really easy because they're convenient. Your kid can run around the pool and fall in, whatever. It just does not promote the right posture for a safe position. If that puddle jumper for some reason is not on, that child's still in that up and down posture. There's no way they can maintain that posture and keep their breath for that long. They're going to get worn out and they're going to get tired and they're going to end up going straight down. Most drownings occur with that posture coming up and down.
Wow. That's like eye-opening for me because all of my friends were all like, "Oh, the puddle jumpers." My kids were the puddle jumpers.
I honestly
was just thinking I need to get both.
Honestly, between my son learning when I was in Florida and then now becoming an instructor, we tried it. I won't lie. I'm going to be completely honest. It was not until I went through the ISR training how real it was.
Right. So you don't learn until it's too late.
That's the problem.
A lot of them are like posted that they're approved by the Coast Guard and stuff. But if you read the very fine print, that's only while you're on the vessel. It is not a safety device in the water.
Okay.
So the whole thing is we really want you to learn the survival side of it. Yes, it sounds horrible. Because we say it like that as opposed to swim lessons or,
Well, I mean, and I was just about to say, I feel like you look at like swim lessons as almost an activity, something to do when the kids don't want to do it anymore.
Not a life
For
or
me,
death survival skill.
completely. It was like, all right, I don't want them to hate the water. I want this to be fun for them. That's how I felt. I was like, they'll get it, but I don't think I'm looking at it the right way at all.
Well, do they love their car seat?
No.
They fuss at their car seat, but we do it because we know it's what's safe for them. They cry at the pediatrician's office when they get shots, but we do it because we know it's what's best for them. In the long run, they're going to love that water because they now own it. They know what to do. That confidence is there.
True.
It's incredible to watch a 15-month-old child swim, roll over into their float to breathe and rest, and then roll back over to swim some more until they get to the edge. Or in a playing environment.
I don't want parents to get discouraged if they start and they see that their baby is crying.
Yeah.
Because they will.
They will.
You've
Oh,
probably
absolutely.
seen it.
And we tell you that
No
from the
one's
get-go.
going to be happy with water being put in your face or, going underwater. But they get used to it and they learn.
And it's life or death.
It is, and it teaches. It's so very important. The classes only last 5-10 minutes.
10 minutes max.
So
Wow.
I mean, it's not like
10 minutes of discomfort to keep your child safe and alive.
yes.
And usually that discomfort is quickly gone because we set them up for success. We do not ask them anything they are not ready to do. There's a lot of, I don't want to say copycats, but there's a lot of imitation programs out there that are very similar to ISR, and I want to ask all parents to please make sure your instructors are certified. That's huge. ISR goes through a very, very stringent training process, and you get certified. If they can't prove that, then you need to check into it a little bit. Please feel free to talk to any of the instructors in the area if you aren't sure, or even go online, check on the ISR site. They'll be happy to help you make sure who you're using is who you're using. You know what I mean? But as far as the swimming and stuff, though, like you said, they cry, but it's only because they're not sure. As soon as
It's new.
they show, as soon as you show them what they can do, it's amazing. It's just amazing to watch their pride. And it's neat because there's been studies showing that now that they've, I don't want to say accomplished that, but they find their confidence in doing something new, that actually bleeds into other areas, into other sports, into other activities at school, different school programs with education and stuff. They're not as nervous about not knowing the environment.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think what's so alarming to me is when I was looking up, more information after you reached out, how quickly it happens.
20 seconds.
That's
20
what,
seconds.
yes. Like that, I could not believe when I was reading, it said for an adult, it would be 30 seconds to 2 minutes, that fight or flight. But for a child, so much less. So right at that 15, 20-second mark.
I mean, can you imagine you
No.
come home from the grocery store and you put your kid in their room so they can go play while you get the groceries unloaded and you think that your kid is in the correct spot, safe where they should be, but in the time it takes you to get your groceries, I out of your car and into the kitchen, it could be too late if you don't have the layers of protection in place.
I mean, think of all you in 15 seconds, how quickly, 20 seconds, how quickly that goes.
And how
And
much?
it's
Go on.
more than just a pool. I mean, drownings can happen in buckets and
Oh,
bathtubs and
absolutely.
toilets and
Absolutely.
any type of water, not just pools.
And you think about and I've helped clients in the past who have had houses with pools, and we're going to install a $7,000 fence, which is good. You should put every measure in place, and we're going to make sure that, think about, I remember when my kids were smaller being on pins and needles. Anytime we were at the pool or somewhere,
Same.
where are they? You think 20 seconds, it's amazing. Nothing,
Yes.
And
and
everybody's
so.
lost their kid
Right.
at some point.
Oh,
Every mom.
absolutely.
I don't care how diligent you are.
Oh,
Yes.
no,
Every mom
absolutely.
has been like, oh, where's my kid?
All it takes is for one to be crying,
Yep.
and the other one you don't know where he is for a second. I mean,
Yep.
it's such an innocent, innocent mistake, and it's just so life changing for you. I mean, it literally just breaks my heart for you.
But what you're saying is in 10 minutes a day, in a week or 2 weeks?
We say 6 weeks
6
to do
weeks.
the full
But
process.
10 minutes a day.
10 minutes a day.
Every day.
Every day, Monday through Friday. Some instructors in other areas do, like they adjust their schedule a little bit, but it's typically 5 consecutive days. So whether they use the weekend or not, that's up to the instructor. But yeah, and what we do, it's all sensory motor driven. So even if it's a nonverbal child, we have lots of children that are, handicapped or nonverbal or whatever it is, we can still teach them because it's all sensory motor. And we do it in a way that it becomes muscle memory.
Yeah.
So it's not even a thought when they go in. They now know, thunk, that water rose, here I go. Boom,
How did you
right
get
up.
involved in this?
I have a son with Down syndrome, and we lived in Florida, and I needed to find something that was effective for him. And one of the things that I found with ISR was it was tailored to him. Like, yes, the process is very similar with most children, but they tailor every touch, every motion, every repetition to what works for him within our theory. And I fell in love with the whole process. And then moved up here. Life happens, of course. And I moved up here, and my son was older. My daughter now was needing lessons, and there was only 2 in our area here, and they were very booked. And when I was speaking with one of them, Brennan Townsend, she's been doing it forever. Carrie Pope is another one. Those are the other 2 that are phenomenal in this area. They encouraged me when she heard I had been involved and wanted to do it. She encouraged me greatly to
Because there's
go
not
check
a lot
it
of
out.
instructors.
There's not a lot of instructors in this
There's
area.
a
We're the
need.
only 3 in a 50-mile radius. Oh, so sorry. In a 50-mile radius.
Wow.
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
you said you're in Spartanburg, and there wasn't anybody in Spartanburg.
Yeah, no. I mean, if we could secure a spot, we would be driving 40 minutes plus for 10 minutes,
10 minutes,
a day.
it's hard.
And I don't know any baby that would be cool with sitting in the car for that long every day,
Yeah.
just for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Now,
We do have parents that do it because that's the only location. So they do
where,
it. They
where
need
do you
to.
do it?
So there's lots of different options.
Okay.
Each of us have our own pools that we use, like different locations that we've made contracts with. We've procured pools through, for example, during the wintertime, I did it through a hotel. They have been amazing with allowing us access to do what we need to do. His whole thought was, more kids we save, the better.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing it there throughout all the winter, and then even one more session, and then I'm going to start doing my outdoor pools. Both of the other instructors have outdoor pool locations, and one of them has an indoor pool location that she just opened up, which I'm so
Okay.
excited for her. And that's all found on the ISR website.
Okay.
But we do use residential homes. So if there's a family that wants to host a pool, absolutely. Especially if we can get more people to come to that pool in that area that, is, and that step that we do. We're working on those items because there's only the 3 of us, and we're trying to get out, we're trying to get it all done. So yes, I was just
Do you
telling
do
her about it.
multiple kids? Like if I were to bring all 3 of my boys, would that Is that feasible?
I don't put them all at the pool at the same time
would be
because I want
staggered.
one-on-one.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to make sure what I'm doing is tailored to
Yes.
your child to give him the
Okay.
best opportunity for success.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll do them 10 minutes back to back.
Okay.
So like, right, and I
Yeah.
do have that scenario. I have several twins that are coming. I
Yeah.
have a mom that has a little one and then 2 afternoon ones because
Mm-hmm.
the afternoon ones are in school and that's what I had available. So she's bringing the little one in the morning and then comes back
Yeah.
in the afternoon. But yes, we all work very hard to accommodate the families the best we can because we want it to be convenient. We want
Right.
it to make it worth it.
Yes.
It is 10 minutes and it goes by so fast. That 6 weeks it goes by so much faster than you think.
Right.
Some kids don't take the full 6 weeks, and I'm going to be honest, some kids do.
Right.
Some kids may take more than that. It depends on their skill level. I mean,
Yeah.
like how each child learns differently. It's swimming is no different. So we say 6 weeks, but usually it's give or take here and there a little bit, a buffer.
So, obviously in the movies, you're seeing the kids drowning and they're splashing and screaming. What does it really look like?
You want to start with that first?
It's silent.
silent?
It's silent. It is not the screaming and flailing and arms flapping and screaming for help. It's silent. They go under and they don't come up until they pass.
Most of the time, it is silent.
Okay.
You do, on occasion, if you have one that's got a strong little doggy paddle, you'll get a little bit of that. But most of the time, they panic, and that water is taken in, and then
Right.
they're choking, as
And you can't.
as they're struggling.
Yeah, right.
So there's not a lot of yelling and stuff involved.
They're also underwater, and most water watchers are on top of water.
Yes.
Right.
And if there are other swimmers around
That's
them,
what's so hard about all
it's
the,
hard
the
to
community
see.
pools.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard of kids drowning in the middle of a
In the middle of a
crowded
very busy
community
pool.
Yep.
On a side note with that, if you don't mind me saying,
yeah.
swimsuits. Highly, highly, highly recommend brightly colored swimsuits. Not any of the pretty blues that look just like the
Oh.
water.
Yes.
When the pool
Okay.
cover is on, you can't see that. Even without the pool cover, depending on what your liner and stuff looks like, they blend right in
Oh gosh,
and you don't even notice. Yeah,
that's a great tip.
lots and lots of bright colors.
Okay.
Bright yellows, bright reds. There's really pretty bathing suits out there with all of that.
Yep.
That's just a little side note. I'm sorry. I wanted
No,
to
that's
say.
No, it's important.
if you have any more of those, that's so important. Stuff you don't think of.
Right. One more thing. I wanted to go back to the whole life vest issue.
Yeah.
I want life vests on. We highly encourage that safety side of it, especially when you're on a vessel,
Okay.
any kind of boat or whatever. But we recommend you wear a life vest, a regular buckled life vest. They can do all of the floating and the swimming that they need to do with that on. That's the only flotation device that does not prohibit the motions that you need.
What about lakes? Say you're at the lake, the beach. I know I'm because I feel like I don't have enough eyes, and I have all the kids. I'm like the mom that makes them wear their puddle jumper at the beach because I'm just so scared that they're gonna run in, and I'm not gonna see.
Right.
So do you encourage that at the beaches and lakes, or are you
Honestly, if you can't have your arms on your child, put them in a life vest.
Okay,
But not a
okay.
puddle jumper.
Not a
life
puddle
vest.
jumper.
A life vest.
A life vest.
Okay.
A typical life vest sits on top.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So it will float on top and the body will be down. It puts you in that
Flat position.
Okay.
horizontal position.
Okay.
Which
So-
promotes the float.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. No, it's just, I feel like that's so all you see is puddle jumpers.
I know.
That's
It is.
literally it. So
It's such a
I hope
false
that people
confidence.
can really, get that out of this.
Throw out your puddle jumpers and buy life
Oh,
vests.
Yes.
Coast Guard approved life vest.
I think
Yes,
we're doing
thank
we're
you.
doing a
Coast Guard
disservice that we don't even know about.
Right.
We're not privy to.
Oh no, and
knowing.
I am not in any way shaming parents.
no.
Oh my
No.
gosh, no. I am not in any
Not
way
at all.
shaming. It's just a knowledge thing.
Yeah.
Like
It
you're
is.
not aware that it's not what it's promoting.
And I think you think you're doing the right thing.
You are. Oh, absolutely as a parent. I don't think any
Right.
parent is honestly thinking, yeah.
What about older kids or even adults? If we've got, my kids are decent swimmers. They're not the best, they're not the worst. But if you have that older kid who maybe had that fear of water and they're 9, 10 and they're like, I'm just going to stay in the shallow end. Or if there's an adult out there who just never had that opportunity, where do they go for resources to say, hey, this is the summer that we're going to take care of the swimming thing?
ISR instructors are very happy to teach
Okay.
older children.
Okay,
Absolutely,
so really all
yes.
ages.
We do.
It just starts as an
It
you
does.
can start as an infant.
We would like to start as soon as
Yes.
you can, because
1 to
you're
4.
not building a history that's not. You're not building the wrong history. Does that make sense?
Right.
You're putting in place the tools they need from day one that they can. ISR does 6 months old and sitting up independently.
Okay.
Several reasons. We want to make sure they have the right core muscles and stuff to do what we're asking them to do. If they don't have that, you're going to ask them to float.
Right.
Nobody's going to float.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're all going to be distracted, or disappointed in the outcome of that. But as soon as you can get them in the water, absolutely get them in the water with
Yeah.
with an instructor.
I don't want people listening or watching this to be discouraged by the lack of ISR instructors.
Yeah.
No.
And kind of feel like there's nothing that they can do to prevent their child from drowning, because there are several things that you can do besides ISR
Yeah,
to keep your
absolutely.
children safe. ISR is, of course, the best thing, but parents need to learn about layers of protection, having fences and alarms. Now they've come out with pool entry alarms. They're not as, sensitive as they should be, but
Do
and
those
learning,
go off when the water is disturbed, or?
I'm not sure exactly how
Okay.
it works. I do know that it alarms when someone enters the pool
Gotcha.
without
Oh, wow.
authorization.
Okay.
You can have door alarms, window alarms. You keep your toys and pool noodles, floats, anything that would draw a kid to a
Entice.
pool. Keep it away from them. And then you do have the fencing, but kids are Houdinis. I have several little Houdinis myself. They get what they want.
Yep.
And you got to make sure that there's no way that they can climb that fence, because mine would try. A chair, a trash can. There's so many things that you can do at home to help prevent drowning.
Yeah.
So you almost have to look at if you have a pool, look at it from the eyes of a 4-year-old of, what could I drag over there? Because what you just said about trash cans
Yeah,
or anything,
seriously,
I would have
climbing.
never thought about that.
No.
So putting yourself or what you said about, the toys in the pool, where it attracts them to say, hey, I want to go get that out. Really looking at your landscape of, if I'm a 4-year-old,
Yes.
what's going to draw me in?
And another important thing is, if ever you do lose your child and you can't find them, if there's water nearby, check the water first, because it could save them if they got there.
So one other topic before we stop. I feel like you hear this all the time, that 2nd degree drowning, dry drowning. What does that look like? Because you've heard
I
this.
know every year
You
this
hear
pops
about
up
it.
on social media, and then people totally
You
freak
do.
out. And then it's like, now I'm just not going to bring you to the pool at all.
It's terrifying. My mom had said, she's like, we didn't have this when you were little. Like, we didn't have to worry about this term. I'm sure it happened, but it's basically
It's
After.
not as prevalent
okay as maybe we think.
as social media puts it out there to be.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
not saying ignore it,
Right.
but I am saying it's not as prevalent. It is a concern, obviously. It's usually after a traumatic event,
Okay.
not so much just a fall in. What typically happens is there's moisture in the lungs.
So it's
and
not
then-
from like swallowing pool water.
No.
Right.
No. And if the instructor, wherever you go, if the instructor is doing it properly, that child should never breathe that water in. That head should never be submerged in the lesson
Okay.
until you have established the breath control.
Okay.
That's huge.
Okay.
That's like day one stuff. If that's not established, that head does not get submerged.
Okay.
Lessons don't start until you've
I see a lot of
established
people that
that.
like pull their kid under on as a baby.
No.
No, I was so scared to try that, but I know a few people are like, you blow in their face and then you pull them under.
But
So you
May
say
is
no.
Water Safety Month,
No.
and you made before we started the show the really important comment of, I wish people paid attention to this all the time. I wish people would take how serious the possibility of drowning is, and teaching infant swim rescue, taking swim lessons, just being safe around the water. as seriously as people take this second dry drowning
Seriously,
Facebook post.
it's so true.
Because they go viral every year, and it's one of my pet peeves of, okay, now everybody's freaking out about this, and you're watching your kids for 8 hours every day after going to the pool because
Right.
you're afraid they're going to dry drown, but then we're sticking them in puddle jumpers and getting distracted at the pool. So
Yeah.
Well, and you know what the problem is too with the dry drowning? What you're supposed to look for is typical of a long day of playing at the pool. It's
they're
like,
tired.
you know, fatigue, irritability. I mean, that's any toddler at the end of a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think we were like putting all the moms on like this hyper alert, but exactly what you just said, like we're actually doing the wrong things with this.
We're doing it backwards.
We're
We
doing
wouldn't
it
have to worry about
completely
this as much
backwards.
if we
I
focused
mean,
on
I'm
this
so
first.
guilty of it. I'm not preaching. I'm like taking this in because I am so guilty of everything and not wanting to make the boys uncomfortable, and you know, I need to just do this for them, and you know,
There's
yeah.
and forgive me for saying this, but there are so many parents that say, if I could give another day to hear my child cry at a swim lesson again,
Right.
like you take it
It
for
would be worth
granted.
everything.
Yeah, you take it for granted. No,
I
you don't
would-
want your kid to cry, but you know what? You're doing what's right.
Yeah.
I would drive 40 minutes each way
Yep.
to hear him.
Can you tell so I want everybody to take something away from this to help prevent drowning in the future, but can you tell us about him? I would love to hear what he looked like and things he liked doing, because I want his memory
Thanks,
to
Ashley.
be
Gosh.
I want his memory to be of a whole person, not of how his life ended. So can you tell us about him?
Yeah, he was 2. I'm sorry.
No, please.
Oh, absolutely. Take your minute.
He was a miracle from the get-go. My water broke when I was 30 weeks. And I was able to stay pregnant with him for almost 3 more weeks. So he was born at 32 weeks and 5 days and spent a month in the NICU, which was awesome because little Caucasian boys usually don't do well. While in the NICU, he had to have a bilateral inguinal and a hernia surgery. So he overcame that, and he was born with a VSD, heart murmur, and then I think the November 2017 he got extremely anemic, and we didn't know, and we almost lost him then because his hemoglobin dropped extremely low. But he fought through that, and he was spunk. He was all spunk. He loved Baby Shark. He had a little doll that my older kids took a pet shop head. It kind of reminded me of the Toy Story, the putting parts on. And he loved this little bird baby, the bird head. And he loved the water. He loved it. And when we were filling up the pool, we let him get in, because it was just a couple inches of water, and he had a blast. He had so much fun. He was so full of life. He was my little angel. It happened so fast.
Thank you for sharing your story. When you reached out to us, it's so important, and you are taking his memory and hopefully helping so many other people. And so everybody, Castiel is his name. May 16th is his birthday.
Yes.
And May is also Water Safety Month. So hold your babies tight. Who cares if they cry in the water? And thank you for sharing your story and for taking something that is just so tragic and helping others. You're extremely brave, and I'm blessed that you came on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And I mean, if anybody has any questions wants to talk or ask questions, I'm free. Send me a message. I don't mind.
Thank you so much.
When the episode comes out, we'll make sure your info's in there so
Yeah.
anybody can reach out to you.
And where can we find you?
The instructors in our area are at isr.com.
Okay.
I personally am Greenville Spartanburg Infant Swim, or you can find me on Facebook by my name, Claudette Graham, or for ISR Swim Stars are my two places. You can either find my personal page or that page. Our schedules are open, ready to go.
Sign me up, for real.
We'll talk when we're done.
Yes.
It is summer, so it fills up fast. So if you guys are interested, please, please, please contact one of the instructors and let's get you going, because it goes quick.
Yeah.
And you want them to know what they're doing before they get in the water. So the sooner you start, the better.
Yes. I really, really appreciate
you
this.
both. Thank you.
And hopefully, I really hope people have gotten something out of this. I know this was, not the easiest subject, but it's a necessary subject.
Yes.
So again, thank you, Kari, and thank you, Claudette, for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you next time. And
And I know
Yeah.
it sounds a little weird to talk about sponsors after
Yeah,
something this,
I
but
agree.
it's really important. Thank our sponsors
Yes.
because they are paying for the studio time so we can talk about stuff like this.
Yes.
And that is, we do real estate on the front end, and we thought maybe this podcast was going to be like about real estate, and we got one episode in and realized this is just so much more. And I know I'm so grateful to our sponsors so that we can highlight stuff like this and then help other families. So our sponsors for this episode are Andy Foffel, who's new with Network Funding. Thank you so much. Andy has a ton of kids too, and I know he would really appreciate this topic. Who else do we have? Pearl Dental.
Pearl Dental. She has
Yep.
a little boy.
She sees kids.
Yep, sees
her
kids. Also, Parham Smith Archenhold, Blackacre. They're two awesome attorneys that support us, and Wilson Associates.
Absolutely.
So-
thank you to our sponsors for letting us and
Do
giving
this.
us the opportunity to give you guys a platform for this so important topic.
Yeah.
Can I add real quick
Sure.
that for those of you that are going on to sign up for Claudette Graham, I am offering a discount if you mention that you saw us here, so that I know it's where you found us and it made a difference. So I'm willing to give a discount so that you can get your kiddos in.
Thank you.
Thank you both,
Absolutely.
ladies. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you next time.